Seeing the same friends that helped us with our first shop 12 years ago shows how strong the scene is. Piers had his crew of carpenters, but to help there was Fids, there was Danny, there was Ben, Quinn, Wiseman. All these guys were the same guys that helped us build our first rubbish little ramp out the back of our first shop.
Now we seem to be gathering speed, it's going good.
They helped build the bowl in the church, and they'd been a part of the scene since me and Rick were. It was at that point, I think, that it finally felt that this building site is turning into the skate park. It was that handover from the builders to us that actually finally felt like it was our space. So to see these guys going, wow, this space is nuts, and to see how psyched they were, the old scene sort of jumping back on it and putting something crazy together.
I've been building stuff like shop counters and cafe counters and worktops and cabinets and anything we can make out of the old skate park, we're making into the new items for the shop and the cafe. We've pretty much built everything we need now for the shop and the cafe. It should be quite a quick process when we get in there because everything's modular, it's all been built off site, so hopefully we can fit the shop out and the cafe in a really fast time.
So we brought Matt Brown into the company to help out with staffing and to managing the new place. He's a funny guy.
Hastings born and bred, so I lived in the town all my life. I think there's always a time and place for a sense of humour. My problem is, within a workplace, is that I've not always had that filter. I started today, I guess.
He was the manager of Santander, which is like, you know, well paid, good job.
You would have absolutely no idea speaking to him.
And he's like, he was done with banking, and he was like, I'll do it. I want to do it. And he was so excited, it was nuts.
Why work if you're unhappy? Why be in a job for 40, 50 hours a week when you're unhappy or you can't have a laugh? My job title is Retail Director of the Source Park. I'm going to be day-to-day running the whole operation.
I had to forward his CV to our bank at one point because they were asking who your manager's going to be.
So Rich goes, look, Matt, we've never opened up a big skate park in a 1930s converted swimming bars before with a shop and cafe. We know you haven't, but between us all, we should get it right. So I was like, well, I'll get going then.
I had to actually tame it down because it looked like I'd made it up, like a perfect person for the job. I thought he was lying.
He used to skate a bit. His brother's a skater, so he was on the scene. But that combination of knowing what it's all about, being a manager.
There's literally not a single person on the planet who's more qualified for that job.
So we've installed all the main bowl modules now, as you can see. All went pretty smoothly, pretty good result. Everyone's pretty happy and looking forward to riding it, of course. Still, obviously, lots to do, so on with the next phase, really.
Here we are, end of November. The electricity meter finally went on 3 days ago, which enabled the ventilation system to be up and running. The effect of that's been quite tremendous in drying the building out. We were very keen to get this ventilation on to see what impact that had on in helping reduce condensation. And yes, it's worked.
So with the shop doing really well, and we were just still continuing filming and going on trips and riding like we always had, then our third DVD, Normal, came along. The whole group, the whole gang of people was growing all the time, but younger riders, a whole new sort of scene are joining the more established riders in there. Mag broke his back filming for this one, which scared the hell out of everyone. Pretty gnarly crash in London. It was a bit touch and go for a while. During the summer, we was up on the roof of the church trying to fix yet another leak. And while we was up there, I was looking down towards the garden and noticed there was probably just about enough room for a line of wooden trails.
Well, there, Mark had had a few drinks and had this sort of like genius idea in his head was telling us all about.
That he wants to put ramps in the garden.
Definitely clearance up there, definitely clearance for a line of trails.
There was no space, it was all just these weird little like off-angle alleyways and stuff.
Get something in his head and just wouldn't let it go.
Yeah, he just committed and said, I want to build ramps in the garden. No permission from the landlord whatsoever.
We managed to get a line of pretty semi-decent jumps going into the garden.
That was awesome. Like, I was so stoked on the garden.
And this grew and grew, and we was adding stuff to it more every summer, every month it seemed.
They all just started coming together and was like, oh my God, we've made something that's quite ridiculous again and looks like it's going to be loads of fun.
To the point where every last inch of that garden was like a skate park trails. It was pretty nuts. It was the hangout for everyone at the source, everyone that worked there. The whole scene in Hastings really would be there in the evenings.
Right, Friday, barbecue's on, riding the garden, who's up for it? And you'd have 10, 15 people there.
And just totally DIY. They were just built on soggy mud.
People we knew that rode bikes and happened to be carpenters were there, decking it out. We're all standing there rubbing our chins, going, that'll be about right.
Propped up how they could, but they worked really well. And it was just using every inch of space we could just to have fun after work.
We built ramps over walls, took fences, iron railings, took all that out. It was awesome. It was such a good use of a rubbish space. The evening summers there were good, man.
A lot of pro riders came and rode it, and it was quite good to see as well. We'd have some really good riders come and they'd still fall off their bike just like we did.
One day, one of the biggest US pros, Chase Hawk, was in town, and he came into the garden and started riding, and ended up shooting a front cover for the Ride BMX magazine. It was pretty funny.
It was kind of the precursor for the Source Park. It's where we learned how... I don't think we could have done the Source Park without doing Trinity Hall first.
I remember Chase saying how much he loved the garden. He said it was just like his boyhood dream. And I think that sort of maybe brought it back for him a little bit, that you can just throw some jumps into something, even if they seemingly don't fit. And I think he sort of liked the idea that it was very DIY and sort of going back to basics.
In 2010, Ride Magazine launched their Reader Awards.
Asking who was the best shop, who was the best brand.
I don't know. I don't know if we expected to win. I don't think we did.
We ended up winning the best BMX retailer.
Everyone was so stoked that we won. We were up on stage and we were pretty drunk at this point, and it turns out we won by miles as well.
And we have done actually for the last 5 years straight from then on.
And I think that's when people started realising, or when we started realising how well liked we were in BMX, I think, and that we were doing the right stuff.
Be recognised by the riders who we are, but who we sell to, our customers, was quite humbling.
I have to say that I respect them very highly regarding their business approach.
It's bad cop, good cop, innit? You know? And like, yin and yang, you need it.
They are yin and yang.
Between them, they have that perfect mix that just makes it right.
Rich went to uni, I guess studied business and all that, so he knows all that.
Yeah, Mark's kept his foot in the BMX riding side of things.
And it works a treat, so...
And the fact that they're brothers, they kind of work so well like that. They're not scared of hurting each other's feelings.
If anyone's not going to agree with something, it'll probably be Mark not agreeing with Rich.
They just tell it how it is. Sometimes they might have ideas that will stray them off the path, but the other one will soon kind of put them back right. It happens both ways.
But then they're always looking for what's around the corner.
So Mark might see a comp and Rich will see like the business plan around that.
I actually think they're a proper mix. And I think either one of them wouldn't be anywhere near as successful as they are now.
And then they kind of gel it together and
It's perfect,
just
really.
let us know what crazy plan they have next.
Right, so it's 2016, come off the back of a really, really busy Christmas trading period. We've got 4 or 5 weeks till we open, which is insane. The plaza got finished virtually over Christmas. The large skate parks just started up again after New Year, with the second half going in. The shop and the cafe are all built and going in as we speak. And there's just a lot of kind of cleaning and staff training, and it all feels very real at the moment.
Really exciting day for us at the Source. We've got about 30 of the new staff arriving. They're more excited though because they're going to get to have a walk around the new Source Park. New year, finally back on site at the Source Park. We'll be moving all the ramps for the street course in today. Looking forward to getting it all finished off and opening in just over a month.
So we went from these period of 2 years where things visually wasn't that different to where we finally got in, and stuff was just piling in every day. There was just so much stuff going on that every day you'd see something new when you walked in there, and it was just like a shop fit of old. Like some of the staff that had time and our staff that were already working for us were just in there painting stuff, stripping bits off walls, polishing wood and the brass handrails, and every day there was just new stuff to see.
It's kind of cool to see all the same people doing the same thing, but just on a much bigger scale. So everyone's kind of grown with the Source. Like we were 20 when we started.
But we all know each other, and it's like we all know what we're all capable of, and it just works.
And everyone's got a sense of achievement. We always look back on what we achieved together, I think. It's like quite binding.
It's hard to explain that one because you're just all part of it. It's just what you do, isn't it?
There's so many worrying times for like Mark and Rich, and some things kept worrying us too much, you know, with the water coming in.
So like, you could walk around at midnight and there'd be 50 people working on that.
Half of which we'd never asked to help us all night, but they just were so into it that they'd be there helping out.
I don't know, that's what I get a real buzz from is when you see that kind of activity.
We was all pulling like 60, 78 hour weeks. It was mad.
And it was funny because we overlapped with the actual builders. We'd all be there before them in the morning, and then they'd all leave at like 5 or half 4. And then we'd be there till like 2 in the morning and then be back in before them again.
And then you'd walk into the plaza and there'll be another 5 guys there painting, and then there'll be some people putting the cafe together up in the main park, whilst you've got Piers' crew finishing up the ramps, and it was nuts.
They just wouldn't even believe we'd build a whole skate park in a day, and they're like, they literally didn't believe it.
So the last 24 hours, Piers and his crew went all night through to get the park finished.
I said, Piers, 3 hours. He just looked at me. He goes, it's not happening, is it? And I was like, dude, it's like 3 hours. We all kind of blanked it out of our mind that it was some sort of bluff date. Literally, we had to just tidy that whole building site up in about an hour.
And it was all hands on deck, literally up to the last moment, where it was like, oh, the mayor's upstairs, we're going to open the doors in 5 minutes. And I think everyone just picked up their brushes and their dust sheets.
And I think someone was sweeping as the mayor was walking through that shop, and there was just dust in the air. And then it was open. It was just crazy. Like,
I put a shirt on the office, like scribbled some notes to write a speech which I had to give, and then walked upstairs in a shirt, and there's a queue of people to come in, and it was like you walked into a TARDIS. You walked out of Carnage into, oh my God, this is real.
Everything we do is born out of the simple reason that we want to have fun on our bikes, and we want to see other people having fun too.
What have we got here? It's quite incredible. It's a state-of-the-art, precision-engineered skate park. And all made of wood and clearly machined totally originally. I mean, it's so cavernous, and the echo gives you an idea of the sort of space.
And the doors to the Source Park opened for the first time. It was a pretty special day.
I want to go up this flight of stairs because I understand in there something pretty impressive. In there is what was a giant swimming pool where half of Hastings learned to swim. That's been derelict for almost 20 years that we're reconnected.
It's rad to see an unusable space transform into something rideable. Everyone piled in, and there was so many kids riding and skating. The whole build was hard, but we always knew it would work.
And at the top level is the balcony that we're standing on.
It was just an amazing experience. experience, and it's literally a dream come true.
I don't even know how they did it. I've got no idea how they've done it.
Finally, someone's doing something in Hastings. It's fantastic for families.
I think it's brilliant for the kids.
Great that it's given an opportunity for, you know, these young kids to be here.
What the Source has done here for the young of Hastings and the youth has been wonderful.
I think it was just really embraced by the people of Hastings. We had so much media down there. We had a royal visit, MI5 down there, and you know the Duke of Gloucester walking around opening the place was a surreal. The realisation is that yeah, it's working. It's so good, and it's exactly the same as what we've always done, but on a much bigger scale. It was the same feeling of going and riding the bowl in the church after work, or riding the garden after work. This is why we work so hard. And I remember me and Rick were down on the bowl, and the mayor cutting the ribbon for the park. And then at that point, Lacey dropped him into the bowl and started shredding. It's like, it was just good to see someone actually finally riding that bowl that had been built for so long. It was a bit of a sigh of relief, I think, from Rich and me. It's just like, you know what, it's done.
Here for Source BMX Battle at Hastings. Should be interesting.
The biggest thing I think to happen, like for BMX, kind of worldwide as well as UK.
They've done it. They've smashed it.
This kind of event kind of recaptures that backyard jam style of contest.
They've got people from all across Europe, all across America, just coming to ride this contest.
You wouldn't get these group of people together in one place. Like, it just wouldn't happen.
To feel that kind of energy again is pretty awesome.
Everyone's working for the contest. People that are doing the live feed, people that are filming the contest, people that own the skate park, they all ride. It's about as BMX as you could possibly get, and I'm having a great time.
So when I got the call and the invite to come down to this contest, for me it was like no-brainer.
Definitely beat because I have too much fun riding. I just keep riding. I can't take a break.
My first thought was like, wow, like, yeah, the place is crazy.
Coming all the way from New York City, on the other side of the pond, it's magic being here. I mean, just look around.
This is perfect. This is like a dream come true because this is BMX and this is my passion.
The US guys going, this thing is sick.
Well, I've been here for 5 days now and I haven't left the bowl. To me, certain elements of it remind me of like the little double bowl that I used to ride all the time. So.
And it's in a town that you always come to. I come here every day, you know.
Super like famous BMXers. These guys are like a big deal. They come here and they're like, dude, you live here, right? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you're so lucky. This bowl's amazing. I'm like, I know, man.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I would love to have something like that in France.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. Like, I can't believe it. I'm so stoked for them.
I really would like to have this park back home. I could ride this every day and not get bored.
For a project of this magnitude, you can't even express the number of hurdles that come with this. You also want to have a contest at the Battle of Hastings on the 950th anniversary. I mean, that is some vision right there. So my hat goes off.
If I imagine back to when I was sort of 8 or 9 and that thing happening, all the best riders in the world in like the local skate park is insane. I think just to see that would have been awe-inspiring.
I gotta tell you, from the moment of being along the coast and then going, that's the building right there. You're like, but waves almost break up on it. And they're like, no, that's the building.
To bring an old feeling to current times and it be very similar, it's really, really incredible.
It sets the tone for this like mystical place, and then obviously the masterpiece of these ramps. I mean, it's like, there's nothing like this in the world.
So it's nice now the dust has settled and we finally see the wood through the trees. I think the project as a whole taking us all by surprise. Whilst you're working on it, you can't see beyond the task at hand.
This pool that was like full of dust and you're thinking, how on earth is this ever going to be a skate park? How can they transform this? They've definitely bitten off more than they can chew here.
You have to have the mental perseverance, you have to have the vision, and then when every hurdle comes at you and you are just getting hit, left, right, uppercutted, I mean, you're against the ropes.
But taking a step back, the project as a whole, I think, has turned out better than any of us really expected or could have hoped for.
Well, you've only got to just look around. Look how alive it is and vibrant with these people.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I feel immensely warm inside knowing that, you know, I played a part in making it happen.
It's been fantastic watching the place get used for the first time in many years. Another kind of milestone in the BMX history of the town.
It went from all of a sudden being a building site into a fully functional skate park, and it was just probably the most impressive thing I've seen, really, and yeah, it's amazing.
The only way that that's possible is for people to fully believe and love what they're doing. But the amount of work that's involved, like emotionally, physically, mentally.
To give other people that opportunity, you know, to be able to see that they can do something from what they enjoy. If you want to, you know, do something like that and you work hard enough at it, then you can do it.
Took the bull by the horns and gone for it, rode it out, stayed on that bull.
You can't do that unless you've got an inherent love for what you do, and that's why they've just nailed every single thing about it.
Have an amazing time riding, you know, that is what BMX is about. Having fun, enjoying yourself. And this place has totally delivered on that.
And I think we haven't seen half of what they're going to do yet. Wait and see.
But all's well that ends well, and obviously what we've made is a good thing, and everyone's having a great time.
Corey Martinez and Nathan Williams coming down. I remember them saying to me, it's like, this place is ridiculous. I didn't know that it was even under here. And to hear those guys get excited about riding, the same as any kid would. And it just shows how BMX just brings the whole scene together. It makes you feel proud that that's happening in our hometown. And I just think for the scene, it's going to be crazy.
Tell me your thoughts on the baths being converted to a skate park.
Well, I'm a bit annoyed about it, actually.
Why is that?
Well, I think it's just stupid that all our money, taxes, is going into skating and BMXing when everyone could benefit from a swimming pool or a ice rink.
Okay. Fuck you.